Claude Fable can now identify viral formats, replicate them, and grow multiple Instagram accounts on autopilot now. 2 days ago, I had 60 followers, and now I'm close to 1500 followers on Instagram. This reel itself has got 275k views, now sitting at 300k views, and we have another one here, 30k views, 26k, 27 almost. This was posted by Claude Code, Fable, and Opus together. It found the viral formats, replicated the format, talking about what I like to talk about in my niche. Then I ran the same thing on a second account, and the same thing again, it is repeatable. Not quite the same numbers, but it is repeatable, the formats and everything. This one got 11k, other ones are also performing much better than the 200 views that I was getting before. So the fact that it is repeatable, all these reels here are replicating different formats and trying it out. It also keeps track of all the analytics using your browser, so it can double down on the topics and the formats that actually work. So if you see all the reels here, this is a new format that it is trying out. It can also generate symphony-like music, so you don't have to actually talk in any of this, or even create audio. That being said, I did try it with my own audio, which didn't perform very well, so I dropped that idea. So this is for you if you want to grow an account without ever showing your face, or filming, or sitting there guessing what to post. You're not making these reels by yourself, you're building a little machine that makes them for you. It goes and finds what's already going viral in your space, copies the format, and ships your own version of it, all running autonomously while you sleep. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the whole thing, how it finds the winners, how it copies them into a reel, and how you put it on autopilot. So it just runs, even if you have never written a line of code. So before we get into any of these tools, this is something that I want to mention. I noticed it in my own little case study here, and I had heard other creators talking about it too. So that's where I started. On a small account, the thing that makes a reel take off usually isn't the topic itself. It's also the format, the shape of it, how it opens, the little animation, how long it is, the counter ticking up, the way the words hit. For example, these reels are 10-second reels, and it's not easily explainable either. People have to focus a little bit to understand what it is, and people are also interested in the same topic, so they see it and then they stay there for a while trying to understand it, so that kind of increases the retention. Someone in your space had already made the reel that worked, so the format is proven, it beat the algorithm once already. Now the topic matters too. Anything with Claude Code tend to get more views. You still have to think about what people actually want, but the point is that you're replicating what already works. You're not trying to be clever or original here, and you're also funneling the right people in. Even if your offer isn't directly tied to the content, the same people who would want what you sell are the ones discovering these reels. These reels took off, had a lot of comments, a lot of saves, a lot of shares. They tell you it's landing through these comments and the saves and view counts. So there's really two parts to it, finding the format and finding the demand, what people actually want and talking about it in that format. And I use two skills for that. One that finds the viral format and that finds the winning post in your niche. I get to both in a second. So what's the machine made of? There's 5 pieces to it. There's Claude Code. Then there are skills, which are specialized instructions to instruct the coding agent how to do a certain thing specifically according to your own taste. It could be workflows, operating procedures, things like that. And then there is Claude Code's inbuilt browser, which is how you run these autonomously in the background while you sleep. And then there is this MCP connector at the end that pushes these reels to your Instagram accounts, routes to different accounts based on the content that is being created. That's all done by this MCP connector here. So what is Claude Code? They call it a harness, a system where you can run agents that uses Anthropic's Claude models. This is different from ChatGPT or a chatbot. It can actually do things on your computer. Not only chat, they can work for long hours on a task until a goal is met, and you can run it 3 ways. I suggest you start with the desktop app. You can get the desktop app by going to that address over here and download the version for your operating system. This is what I use normally, but some functionalities are not available in the desktop app, so I'll have to revert to the terminal. And don't worry, you don't have to know coding or anything like that. Even if you choose to use the terminal, you don't really need to know any of the technical stuff. The terminal is just another app. Some of you are already coders using VS Code for other jobs. If you already work there, pick that. Pick whatever feels the least intimidating. They all do the same thing. Claude Code can run routines, which is what makes an agentic system like this autonomous. I have the daily content engine fill, and I have my lead generation, LinkedIn Radar, LinkedIn Connect. All these different procedures are bundled into skills and put on loops, which brings us to skills, the second component. So skills. What do? They are markdown files, which means they are just text files in a specific format. For example, our skill, viral format discovery, the one that discovers the viral formats. And the skills are bundled into folders, and the main entry point is the skill.md file. They look like this. These are text files. They have a little something here at the top called as front matter. If you look at the preview of that in a tool like VS Code or Obsidian, you can see that the name viral format discovery and there is a short description. This description is how the agents know what skill to use when. So what does it do? It's really a prompt or workflow instructions inside. They make the agents perform better, makes them better at specific tasks, produce better outputs. There's no guessing as to how a workflow should be done. If you have your own operating procedures, you can turn these generic actions usually taken by these LLMs into specific procedures using these skill files. The instructions are basically in the prompt. They can contain workflows or any kind of instructions. These are repeatable prompts that you can store in a file that can be called by the harness whenever it wants. So it is easy to put them on a loop because you're not the one writing the prompts again and again. You have the pre-made prompt. And where do these skill files go? Claude Code operates in a local folder. I have mine set up to work from a folder called local workspace. There's a .cloud directory inside it, and each skill gets its own directory. When you're bundling instructions into a skill, you can also give examples and references as to how to do something. Examples of the output. So those are skills. We have already covered Claude Code's inbuilt browser and routines. These are just scheduled tasks. If I go to routines, all these different routines that I run. I have one for SEO. I have specific marketing plays that I'm testing out. So routines are simply scheduled tasks. Routines are what makes our system autonomous to find these viral formats, replicate them, push them to your socials. To run these routines, you need skills. These are my different faceless styles here, both for Reels and YouTube long form content. This is how you invoke a skill. Simply types / and the skill name. And how do you create these skills? To create, you just prompt Claude. Grab the reel and prompt Claude to replicate it. Ask Claude to replicate, download and transcribe the reel or a TikTok, whatever it is. Provide that link, inspect the frames, look for animations, transitions, other motion properties, map them out, replicate the first frame, and if there are any sound effects, add that. If there is any music, generate instrumental music and bundle it as a skill. And you type that prompt into a new session. Make sure the directory is correctly selected and enter your prompt there. You can also, this looping feature from Claude Code called goal loop, simply type /goal and a condition, which means that Claude will loop until the condition is met or until the max iterations. Obviously, use Fable if you have access to it. Opus 4.8 also can do the job. What I do is use Fable to create the skill, and when comes time to replicate it using the skill, I use Opus. That prompt would be something like this: /goal, study the format and create a skill to replicate this format, plus the rest of the stuff we just discussed here. And once that skill is created, simply instruct Claude Code to create a routine to run every day. And in the prompt that you use Claude Code to create a routine that would look something like this: hijack trends and create content. Create reels using the skill name that you have just created. I suggest creating one skill per style. In my case, my content generation searches the internet, look for viral formats from YouTube, Reddit, GitHub, anything related to Claude Code, autonomous agents, that pulls from my wiki, which is run by Obsidian, and that gets converted into that reel. And that goes through BrandBrain's MCP and to my socials, which brings us to the last part, the publishing part. After this, we'll get into the demo of it, so stick around. By the way, if you'd rather just use the skills that I have already created, you can grab the Agent OS pack and the faceless reel skills from my community. The skill is in the description below, so check it out. We do have different processes. Agent OS Starter Kit is the basis for all the additional modules, so check it out. The link to the community is in the description. So publishing. This is the tool that I use to publish to my socials. This is my own SaaS, and you get free access to it if you are using a local agent like Claude Code and connect that to BrandBrain using MCP. You get free access to it. If you use the chat here, that is run on cloud, and that's not included. So let's have a look at everything that was published. If I select the format reel, you can see all these were created by Claude Code and pushed to BrandBrain. And that's my content calendar. And all my Instagram accounts are added here. You can add multiple accounts. Once you connect the MCP to Claude Code, the agents will know where to route it to, based on the instructions and your preferences. So that's the tool for publishing. You don't have to use this tool. You just need to connect it to any publishing tool. And that's how you connect an MCP. You simply go to Customize, and click on Connectors, and you'll see all the connectors. These are external systems that you connect to. Your ClickUp, your Google Drive, your Google Calendar, Gmail, your Analytics. To connect BrandBrain, you obviously need to sign up to BrandBrain and add this URL when it prompts you to add a connector. Add a custom connector and give it a name, and that would be the URL to add to connect that custom connectors. Once that is added, you will have access to all the tools from BrandBrain. So let's run it end to end. If you're starting from scratch, you can use my Agentic OS Starter Kit, which is completely free. This link here, simply go to that link and get the free starter kit. Or you can get it from my community. You will get the faceless reels also with it, the full pack. So in the classroom, in Agent OS Starter Kit, I have already downloaded the zip file. You have to download this and also download the faceless reels module, which is another zip file here, along with the setup instructions. Now, I've already extracted these into a new folder, and that is the Agentic OS Starter Kit. All you have to do is go to the module and copy everything under the skills folder into the .claude directory skills and copy everything there. Or if you have your own setup, you can simply copy the skills into your .agent skills. It will work with Codex as well, or .claude skills. Put those skills in there. Since I have everything set up in my local workspace already, let me just show you how I do this. So the skill file for that format that went viral, which is included in the faceless modules pack for reels, that is called faceless concept reel. This is how I run it. And I can give an arbitrary instruction to the skill. In this case, I will simply say something like Claude Code subagents. And I have selected my directory and I've selected Opus 4.8. Let's come back once it's finished. So it has now finished creating the reel, and it has also been published to both my Instagram accounts as well through the BrandBrain MCP. So let's have a look at from the beginning what it has done. So obviously it loads this skill here and it goes through the motions and creates the frames, creates the sound effects, and Claude Code puts everything together into the final MP4 here. So it's trying to explain what I had given here, the topic Claude Code subagents, using a 10-second reel, and it goes like this: 40 minutes versus 4 minutes, go parallel, one lead spins of many subagents, basically trying to explain the concept. And it also adds a CTA, comment parallel, which I have found works really well. And after creating the reel, publishing to my socials, and if I go to my content calendar, select only reels, I should be able to see both of them. It is routing to both of my Instagram accounts because I have instructed Claude Code to do so. That's how you create a reel and publish it. To discover new viral formats, you can use this skill, viral format discovery, and give it an instruction. Something like anything in the Claude Code and automation with Claude Code space. This skill will let you discover new viral formats that are blowing up, and you can then turn those styles into new skills and use those skills to replicate the formats. Which brings us to the last bit, which is putting it all together and creating a routine. It would look something like this. You will have to give your routine a name. Find viral formats. For example, mine is something like this. Find a viral format. Once you find a viral format, document it into a skill, create 5 to 10 pieces and distribute among my accounts. Record that performance over the days. Use the real win formula engine skill. This is yet another skill to repeat the winning formats. And to create a routine, you simply go to routine. All my routines are running on my laptop. You can create cloud routines as well, which means that even if you close your laptop, that will run on Anthropic servers. If you create a local one, you need to have your laptop or the local machine up and running for it to work. Create a routine, give it a name, description, and select the model. Once you have perfected the skill, using a higher tier model like Fable 5, you can even use Sonnet to execute it. And you simply set a schedule, manual, hourly, daily, weekdays, whatever is convenient for you, whenever you want it to run. I usually run it every day. You can also select manual if you rather run it manual, in which case you run it from here by clicking run now and it will run one time. So let's bring it home. You're not making reels anymore. You built the thing that makes them. It finds what's already winning, copies the format, posts your version on a schedule. So where do you go from here? The free starter kit, the foundation, that's this link. Link is in the description. Grab that first. The full reel builds, all the viral formats that I have discovered packaged into style skills, the viral format discovery skill, all of that is packaged into the faceless reels module here. That's inside my community. And the publishing tool that I use, it's part of the community. You get access to it for free if you use Cloud agents and not using the agents on the cloud, which is this chat over here. You get access to additional tools like content discovery and many more features here as well. And a full content calendar, which means you don't need to buy a subscription to another publishing tool.